You try on clothes before buying them. So are you a car? Are human beings objects now? Do not stay over unholy hours. Not everything that looks good is good for you. You have to try with 1,000 people before you can be good in bed. Welcome, my royal babes, back to my channel. This is your Queen Angel. How to stay celibate till marriage. So somebody said, you get to know the other. It's not just about sex. It is about living together as a couple for at least a few months. That's why I hate to living together. So you're basically giving somebody wifey benefits or husband benefits before they actually give you the title. Like what? If you're going to give them the benefits, then what's the use of the title? People say, oh, we have the bond, so what's the title? We have titles for everything in this world. Everything that is on earth has a title or a name to classify it. But when it comes to relationship, no title. The main reason why couples implode is being incompatible. And sexual incompatibility is key because you can work around most things, hardly around sex. There's also another issue. Sex is a great motivator when it comes to meeting people. You want to meet people because you want to have sex with them. Even though it's a great motivator, is it the right motivator though? But it does not always lead to making the wisest choices. If you abstain from sex, you will never be able to filter lust out. And you end up marrying someone whom you lust after but do not really like. Okay, so this is the opposite side of the spectrum. I guess it kind of makes sense that you marry this person because you just want to have sex with them, and you cannot have sex with them before you get married, so let me marry the person. So I guess you could get married for lust too, but then the opposite is more real in this situation, that you would see the good sex and then you'll be blinded, and then so you marry them so you can get our sex forever. Good sex, nothing else. It's like two people jumping in the deep end of the pool without floaters or any previous experience in swimming. Sure, you could learn to swim, but the chances of drowning are higher. Sexual incompatibility is a highly underrated aspect of Indian marriage. I think because Indians do arranged marriage and the rest. When you meet first time, you get married. I think that's what they are talking about. If you wait until marriage, you are more likely to have this issue. Most couples look at sex only as a way of procreating and nothing more. It may work out, but more often than not, you are stuck in the situation. It's high time this nonsense about purity and virginity is left in the past where they belong. If you want to know my thoughts about this, I'll put my video link above about waiting till marriage and why I'm still a virgin at 24. I did it when I was 24, but I'm 25 now. A lot of couples look at sex as a way of procreating, but God did not give it to us just to procreate. Otherwise, if it's just progressing, He will just make it just happen. He made sex pleasurable because He wants us to be happy in marriage doing they do. You test drive a car before you buy it. You try on clothes before buying them. So are you a car? Are human beings objects now? Are you just clothes? You sit on a couch and lay on a bed before you buy them. Well, if you wait until marriage, you may get married and find one of you is a dud in bed. So you can improve on it. Like, human beings are not born amazing in bed. Everybody learns from somewhere, don't they? Whether it's from porn or from somewhere else. Everybody learns. So I don't know why you're saying somebody's a dad in bed. You have your entire marriage life to figure it out what both of you like. So what the heck? Do you have to try with 1,000 people before you can be good in bed? You have no idea what you like or what you are just completely and totally sexually incompatible with each other. So when you get married, you cannot communicate. You cannot figure out. You cannot tell your partner, oh, I feel like this feels nice. No, this doesn't. Let's try other things. You cannot do that. Like, is marriage just the end all be all? That's why people don't want to get married nowadays, because in movies, it's like during the dating season, it's so fun and exciting. And then when you get married, it's like, and they lived happily ever after, the end. So it's like, okay, what does that even mean? It just seems like a boring entity. That's why it's like in marriage, you cannot communicate what your preferences are. Marriage is just the beginning. It shouldn't be the end of life or happiness or your sexual life. Then you are stuck being sexually stunted and sexually frustrated for the rest of your marriage. That's why you have to marry the right person, somebody that would understand your needs and want to put you first. A lot of people, they are just selfish. Like, they'll give you all this good D or whatever, but just because they want to keep you there. Or if it's the other way for women, P-whipped or whatever they call it. Like, they do that to keep you there, but not because they are selfless. You can end up with a fantastic sex life if you wait. I personally couldn't take the chance. Okay, at least a positive response, and I really like this response. I just want you to know not everybody is doing it. Really, not everybody. And even if everybody is doing it, I will side with God if every man will be against me, I'm going to be for God. Point blank, period. Because God knows what's best. He created the whole act. So you think he will not know the limits and the time that it's best in? I assume you mean waiting until marriage to have sex. I cannot speak for anyone but myself, and I can tell you I do not condone premarital sex. My feeling is that if a man wants to have sex with me, then he has to love me enough to make me his wife. I am not interested in playing the part without actually having the role. Yes, girl. Yes. This is what I'm talking about. So yes, some do wait, and to me that's a good thing. Personally, I don't feel that I'm missing anything other than acquiring numerous partners, possible disease, and a broken heart. I know, right? So all these people that you're giving yourself to, and then you have to break up with them and then look for another person. How long is this going to keep? Like, your heart was not meant to endure so many heartbreaks, and like, we're not meant to be like that, especially for women. No, thank you. It is just not worth the risk. Nor is it worth compromising my belief just because the world says it's okay. Not everybody is doing it. Exactly. And we are here. Not everyone is doing it because it's not good for you. Not everything that you want to do is good for you. Not everything that looks good is good for you. So how are we going to do it? Because I know there's not going to be a walk in the park. Number one, you have to crucify your flesh. Just like Jesus crucified himself on the cross for us, you have to crucify your flesh. You can't do it in your own strength. I love this woman, Brittany. She will tell you that when she did being celibate for 11 years in her flesh, it was a disaster until she finally broke it. And that's why we need the strength of God. We need to crucify our flesh, because works of the flesh are like sexual immorality, jealousy, witchcraft, but the fruit of the spirit includes self-control. If we walk in the fruit of the spirit, or you walk in the spirit, we are able to resist temptation. To have the strength of God, you need to have a relationship with God, right? You need to know God, and start by actually repenting and asking God to come into your life. And then you start to pray more, you start to read your Bible. If you don't know much about God or the Bible, I suggest starting from John. And if you want a more in-depth video about having a relationship with God, I'll link a video up. You have to know exactly why you're doing this, because you can't do this, like I'll say in another tip, just because you want to have a good husband or whatsoever. You have to know that you're doing this because God says it's the right thing to do, and you're doing this because of God. It shouldn't be forced. When you wait till marriage, even though it can happen too, but then the risk of having it in marriage where you guys have already looked into all diseases like STIs, pregnancies before your marriage, which is a smart thing to do, the risk is so much lower. Be equally yoked with your partner. Make sure you are dating people who are Christians, who are equally yoked, and not just Christians by name. They want to actually be pure in heart and mind until marriage, just like you. Otherwise, you easily fall. Because if you are so heavily attracted to this person, you don't want to lose the person, and the person says do it, you have to do it, otherwise they will leave. What are you going to do? You're going to do it. And it's essential that you discuss your boundary. Somebody may feel like, oh, if just a kiss will make me go over the edge, or just touch it will make me go over the edge. Discuss your boundaries and what you're open to do before it gets too deep. Maybe a really deep kiss is too much for you, or maybe touching certain body parts is too much for you. If you find somebody and then they don't have the same mindset as you, it's fine, they can go. And that is God protecting you. Remember, man's rejection is God's protection. And I said in my other video before this one that your phone will be dry, okay? But remember, God is protecting you. My phone is so dry because people know that, oh, if they come, she's a virgin, so I have to wait, blah, 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 and they don't want to. And it's fine. Because God is protecting me and you for the right person. So get a community of like-minded people like you, because like this person said, it's not everybody that is doing the way of the world that everybody's sleeping around, no caring about waiting for the right person. When you look at the world nowadays, even among Christians, it really looks like everybody is just doing the do, and you were a fool to, or a prude to be waited. But not everybody is doing it. You can watch YouTube videos, you can join a church, you can join a youth group. I know not everybody in the church will be doing it, but I'm sure some specific people might be. Attend Christian events, conferences to learn more about why you should wait for marriage and the benefit. Make your focus be on purity. And it's not just waiting to marriage and not doing the actual do, but actually staying pure in both heart and in mind. Because there was a book I read, it was about a woman that she did everything, and rather except like her quote-unquote virginity, losing that, but she did everything else. And that's because she was trying to find love and she found it in all the wrong places. She wouldn't give up her virginity, but she did everything else. And that's why it's important to be seeking purity and not just virginity or abstaining from the big sexual thing. Because the more that you delve into deep waters, the deeper you will go. And that's what happened to Brittany Lee. She was going over the edge until she really went over the edge. Number 4, prayer and devotion. You have to pray. That's what I've not been doing, but you have to pray so that you resist temptation. Like Jesus said, pray so that you don't get tempted. So you have to make talking to God a daily routine every night. Like I said in my Getting Closer to God video, you sit down maybe around 8, you sit on your bed, you talk to God about your day, you ask God for help, for strength to help you get through temptation. Especially if you are in a relationship, then you really need to pray, because the temptation is going to be stronger and Satan is really going to come for you. But remember, there's nothing God cannot do. And even if you're not in a relationship yet, ask God to help you so that when you get into a relationship, you will not be tempted. The Bible app is a very good app. So you can type devotionals about waiting till marriage, and then they'll bring you a lot of devotionals that you can learn from other people, what it means to wait till marriage and how you can do it. Number 5, accountability partners, especially when you're in a relationship. You really do need people to keep you accountable. Like, the person can be your friend, the person can be your mentor, the person can be your brother or sister in Christ. So that if you have a partner or you're in a relationship and then you stay over maybe 10, the person can call you and be like, I'm holding you accountable. It's been way too long. Come back home. It can be even your mother or your sister. Like, I feel like if I get into a relationship, it would probably be my sister, and I also do that for my sister. We have to hold each other accountable so that we do not go over the edge. Number 6, do not stay over. It goes with number 5, but do not stay over at your partner's house for too long, or do not stay outside for too long on holy hours, or do not talk too long over midnight on the phone to avoid getting frisky. Because after 12, it's like the frisky hours that you can even start to engage in phone sex or whatever. Like, it's the hours that you start to feel some way, so you have to cut it out. Like, when you feel like it's getting to that time, you cut it. No talking midnight. Just protect yourself. My men, please protect yourself, protect your woman, okay? Because we want you guys to be our protectors. But also, we have to hold each other accountable. So the woman also make sure you protect your relationship so that it will be on solid ground. It's best to avoid tempting situations. It's not because when you stay over their place, something will happen. Something may not happen. Like, you may be very self-controlled and something may not happen. But what if something happens? Why put yourself in that spot? Like Joseph, you see, when Potiphar's wife grabbed him, he ran. Even though you may say he's this man of God, he still ran. Because, like the Bible says, flee from temptation. Like, everything else, you got to be like, resist the devil. Even the devil resisting, but temptation, flee. Literally flee. Don't stand there and try to fight it, because it's going to fight you. Your flesh is weak. And also, beware of alcohol, because alcohol can lead you to do all sorts of things. So beware of excessive alcohol consumption. And that's why God says he wants us to be sober anyway. So be sober-minded so that you can actually exercise self-control. And number 7, avoid way too long dating or courting periods. Like, if you know you found the one, why are you waiting? You get what I mean? Especially if finances are in check and everything. Why are you waiting for so long? So if you know God has confirmed it and then you feel peace, there's no need to wait. Unless there's many issues, then maybe you could wait a bit longer. But if there's many issues, the wedding does not have to be this big thing. Because people spend way too much on weddings, and what's the use? It's just one day. But for me, I'm spending. It's what it is. I'm spending also. I ask God that you should bless me with a man that, and also bless me so that I'm able to spend on my wedding. But if I'm just saying it realistically, if you found a person and then you're struggling to wait, yet it's because of money, why wait if you can just cut down some costs? Number 8, have a plan when things go too far. Like, if you are together for way too long and then you start filling up each other, have a plan to run. I saw one couple, the woman was a virgin and the man wasn't, but he said he's going to be strong-minded and wait for his woman till marriage, and she's curvy and everything, so it must have been hard for him. But then he said that one time they were getting too frisky and then he literally left it and then he ran. He did not even look back, nothing, he just ran. And I love that. I love a man that protects his woman. Like, oh, stop, come through. If you find yourself in frisky situations, have a plan to run. And that's why it's good to also be outside. If you are outside and people are around, like, situations like that will not really happen, because you don't want to go too far when people are looking at you. When you set a plan, make sure that kind of thing does not happen again. At least try. Number 9, keep yourself busy. Keep yourself busy with ministry, church activities, youth activities, your hobbies, your work. Keep yourself busy so that your mind does not go too much on, oh, sex, I've not had sex for this amount of time, me celibate for this amount of time. Okay, it's good, but just think, I'm going to be celibate or abstinent until this amount of time. Don't be thinking for, because you'll be like, oh, it's been 11 years, I've been missing out, and then you will go for it. But just say until. So if the time has not come yet, it doesn't matter. Practice self-care, like engaging in activities that would help manage your anxiety and stress, especially if people are making fun of you. And especially for a man, I know it's harder on you guys, but if it's getting stressful and you're like, oof, I can't do it, like have self-care activities that will help you calm down and relax. Exercising too is going to be helpful. Find a position in the church. You can be ushering, you can be singing, you can help with tech. There are so many things that you can do in church to keep your mind off doing sexual things. Focus on building an emotional connection with your partner if you get one, instead of just the sexual connection. Because when your connection with your partner is rooted in friendship and the emotional bond, even when you guys are old and unable to have sex, you still have the friendship to fall back on. Your whole relationship does not just have to be sexual. And also engage in activities that would strengthen your emotional bond rather than just physical activities. When you're doing some activities like going to an amusement park, doing roller coasters, it makes your adrenaline go high. And when you're with a person, it just makes you feel closer to the person. It makes you want to share more with the person. So if it's the right person in a safe place, you can do activities like that would heighten your adrenaline, but it does not have to be sex. Renew your mind, because the world is going to put so much in your mind. So constantly renew your mind by meditating on Philippians 4 verse 8 and focusing on things that are true, that are noble, that are pure, that are lovely, excellent, and praiseworthy. Those are the things that you should be focused on. Leave everything of the world to the world. Number 12, receive counseling and guidance. Like, some people feel like counseling is not good, but it really helps, especially pre-marital guidance and counseling. It's essential to receive that from your pastor. Just talk to them. They are not going to harm you. They want the best for you. So speak to them if you're having challenges, your youth leaders, or just talk to your fellow peers, like youth people. Like, we are here to help each other, not to judge. Jesus came to save the world, not to judge. So if you're having struggles, talk. Open your mouth before it gets deeper and worse. Premarital counseling, before you're going to get married, it's essential to have premarital counseling with a qualified Christian counselor. Could even be your pastor or something to help you strengthen your relationship. Practice modesty for both men and women. Like, you shouldn't be around your partner with your shirt off, exposing all your beautiful abs. Or with my woman, like showing your cleavage and thighs and making it hard for the man to resist. I know you look good, but please, like, what am I right now? Like, I'm covered up, but I still look classy and I still look sensual, like, but I don't have to be showing everything. People want to seek love so much, that's why they engage in sexual activities and sex before marriage, things like that. I made a free ebook for you. All you have to do is click the link in my description and you just join our newsletter and you become officially a royal babe. And I'll see you in the next video, if you've not watched it, about why I am waiting till marriage.
For God so loved you that he gave his only son, so you and I will believe in him and not perish, but have everlasting life.